Denver and Washington. The Broncos jumped out to an early 10-0 lead before quarterback Doug Williams caught lightning in a bottle for the Burgundy and Gold.
Here is a fake draw play and a
right down the middle.
Williams. Long down the middle for Sanders. Touchdown, Washington. To Sanders over Tony Lilly. 49 yards. They're going crazy, these Redskins are. 27 points here in the second quarter, and they lead 27-10.
The third of a record 4 touchdown passes in the second quarter by Williams, as Washington exploded for 35 points before halftime en route to a 42-10 victory. Williams became the first African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl title and earned MVP honors for his efforts. I'm Scott Graham, Westwood One Sports.
I'm Steve, and I live in Austin, Texas. I work as a personal assistant to the owner of a large manufacturing firm. I've got anywhere from 10 to 50 projects going at any given time. I absolutely have to be sharp in order to succeed at this job. 5 years ago is when I started to notice I started making mistakes. My memory was not nearly as sharp as it had been. I was confiding in my friend about the problems I was having with my memory, and she said, "Stephen, you've got to try Prevagen." After a period of time of taking Prevagen, my memory was getting better, and I started to feel a much better sense of well-being. If you're experiencing what I was experiencing, try it. I really believe that it's going to have tremendous effects for you, just like it did for me.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Steve is a paid testimonialist and real Prevagen user. Based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired, this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
ESPN Honolulu presents Call the Coach with University of Hawaii Rainbow Warrior basketball coach Eran Ganot. Presented by Pacxa, Coors Light, and Ruby Tuesday Hawaii. And brought to you by HGEA, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union, and IBEW Local 1186.
Go ahead.
Good evening and welcome to our virtual edition of Call the Coach with Rainbow Warrior head coach Eran Ganot. I'm Bobby Curran, and I think I want to start off talking about last week. Congratulations are on a couple of home wins, maybe a little tighter than I think anyone would like against Northridge. We'll start with that against CSUN because they haven't been great this year. I think after the loss to you guys, they were 1-6. You guys got up 20 in the second half, but ended up only winning by 7. There was a little bit of sloppiness at a point in the second half that I know that you were going to address.
Yeah, no, two good wins. Protect home court is really important. Like we've said, conference play is a different animal. There's a lot of good coaches, good players, good programs here that care a lot. And so, we talked about Northridge coming in, being a very physical team. You could see their size inside. And, having a transfer from Washington and Hardy and Wright, who had hurt us in the past, got better. So I thought we were really focused to come out of the gate, defended, rebounded, up double digits at the half, and then up 53-33 with really, I think, 8 minutes to go. So didn't finish the game well defensively. Had some good shots that were missed, but we compounded it with our lack of defense. And that's a good system that those guys are getting comfortable with, and they took it to us on the boards. We didn't really guard to end that game. We didn't really defend the first 5 minutes of the Santa Barbara game, but certainly every opportunity to learn from something, we will. And I think our guys took that seriously.
Well, I want to get to the Santa Barbara game because that was fairly unusual. I don't know if I've ever seen a Hawaii team get down at home as badly as that. You were down 23-4 with like 11 minutes left to play in the first half. And I thought the crowd, you could sort of tell, that was the biggest crowd of the year, by the way, 2,800 plus. But they kind of got silenced. They were like, what's going on here? And I'm sure that thought was running through your mind.
Yeah, it was, we got hit in the mouth pretty good, and give them credit. We didn't do ourselves any favors. We knew Santa Barbara was a dangerous team. Well, shoot. They're getting more comfortable coming off a pause. They have a returning front court. They've added some really good transfers in the backcourt. They're backcourt guys who were kind of a spark for them off the bench, have grown into a starting position for them this year. And they've been balanced. They've been the number one rebounding team. They've been 49% from the field and good defensively. So We compounded things. I'll say this: I thought our crowd was tremendous from start to finish. They hung in there with us. Our guys hung in there with each other. I mean, I thought when we went from 23-4 to 23-6, the crowd was getting into it. So, we had lapses. We weren't ready to go, and they took advantage of it. But a credit to our guys to just scrap and fight. The last 10 minutes of the first half gave us an opportunity to do some things in the second half. Even though we were missing some shots, we missed some open shots the last 10 minutes of the first half. But the defense and the intensity picked up, and it was a matter of time where our offensive flow would be back to.
Well, I thought to start the second half, you guys, I think you got the first 8 points or something like that to start the second half. It was just a whole different feeling. And then the crowd, I mean, I agree with you. I thought they were good the whole game, but they were terrific once you guys were on the comeback trail.
Yeah, it was great to see. And for guys who haven't been accustomed to it, because, a lot of our new guys last year never got to play in front of the crowd. And so just chipping away at it, having to grow every game. Like we've said at length that this is an easy group to root for in terms of their character, but also a fun style on both ends. And they're competing and playing their tails off. And, Hawaii fans really appreciate that kind of scrap they show. When Javon came in the game, when Junior came in the game, after his first start, it really got us going. And, I'm proud of that. It was good. And it was good to have Timmy Chang in the house, and, a lot of positive things there. It was an opportunity in a moment that our guys could look at. Did we want to wait till after the game, or did we, the one positive thing is there's still 34 minutes left in the game. So we had a chance to kind of chip away. We did, and gave ourselves a chance. Actually went from down 23-4 to taking a 7-point lead. That's not easy to do, especially against a good team. So credit to the guys.
I don't know, and there's a question coming up, a text. Says, Coach, great win on Saturday. Do you know if that was the biggest comeback ever, or like even at home?
Oh, good question. Usually I have some of that stuff. I'll never make it up, so I got to check out the greatest comebacks. I know we talked about, and if you recall, we were down 49, I think 46-23 or 49-23, down 26 against Northern Colorado in the second game of the year, and cut it to one possession. And this is in the second half. So I think our guys know that we have a lot of pride. We can be good defensively, and the 3-ball helps us. And over the course of a game, if we continue to execute and share the ball, we're a hard cover. We can wear teams down. And I thought that's what happened. If we started to open things up and started to get some big shots from different guys, I thought Kamaka and Lotto led that in terms of the 3-point surge in the second half.
What was interesting is some of your usual guys that really take the scoring load, Bernardo and Jerome in particular, those guys had a combined 12 points in the game and 8 rebounds. That is far less than their averages. But, man, did Junior pick it up big time, along with Kamaka. And you mentioned, I thought Amaro Lotto had the biggest 8 points you'll ever see, because they just came right pretty much all at once. He was in an energy ball. By the way, I should mention that Junior Madut was selected the Big West Conference Player of the Week for his performances last week. It's nice to see, and I was surprised to notice. I would have said, yeah, maybe that had happened before. That's his first ever conference award.
Yeah, that's a credit to him and to his teammates, and he's spoken to that. And I'm really proud of him and his continued progressions and his improvements, and he just checks boxes. And now, his efficiency across the board has clearly improved. His experience has allowed him to, both ups and downs, to have the game slowed down for him. He fills the stat sheet. He had close to 9 rebounds a game last week. You get those individual awards when your team has success, both now during weekly awards at the end of the year. And Noel had that when we swept the week. Junior had that when we swept the week. And they're not easy to get. There's a lot of good teams, and teams have good weeks and individual performances in our league. So just glad to see one of our guys get rewarded for that. And I know how happy our team is for him. And I know how hungry he and our team is to keep getting better.
And someone is putting up on the screen, did we hear that Timmy Chang called the comeback? I assume that was at halftime, but that was pretty cool. I actually will admit I did too. When you guys closed to 11 at the half, just the way you ended the half, I was just telling somebody sitting next to it was to Gary. I think I said, this is far from over. Hawaii's going to come back and win this game. I think he thought I was a little crazy. but sometimes you get a feeling about the way a game is going. And I thought you guys had started to defend. And when you do that, that seems to springboard everything else. And when you came out and picked up where you left off, I didn't have any doubt that that was going to end up well.
Yeah, we're not a live and die by the three team. We're a balanced team. I know a lot of people talk about our 3-point shooting and then sharing the ball and the amount of different guys that can make plays, the amount of different guys that can shoot the ball. But the Surge, we're number one in the league in conference playing defense. We've out-rebounded teams, I think, 5 or 6 straight games. And we've been a team that, plays inside out. So if anything, all of this is a byproduct of an approach, of a scrap, of a chemistry, of an energy, of an intensity. And that's what happened after the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game. And so that allowed us to chip away. But at the same time, we weren't making shots. We just feel like if we continued that intensity, the shots will start to fall because we got too many guys. We were a little hesitant at times when shots weren't falling. We cannot do that. So we're going to let it rip when we're open, let it fly when we're open, because we got guys who can do that. We're better when we do that. And the defense allowed us to hang in there when they weren't falling. Eventually did.
It's funny because this next question, I think, is one that some people may be asking. Not the first part of it. Is Beon Riley injured? I saw him wearing a shirt over his game jersey when they played UCSB. I don't think he got the playing time he normally had. I think people have to realize at full strength with Mate back, there's going to be some minutes that Mate's taking that have gone to other people. So I think people got to get used to it. May go by the game, how it's going. Amaro Lotto was a hot hand. He was staying in, and that takes away sometimes from other guys. Beon Riley, I thought Zornet probably didn't get some of the minutes he is more used to.
Yeah, when guys look, everybody's all in. Everybody's got to stay ready. The game dictates some things. We were behind. But although we got some good players playing behind some good players, when Bernardo came back and then Mate came back, it didn't just allow those guys to take minutes at their spots, but allowed some guys to kind of trickle back to their more comfortable positions. Lotto had it going, went with him. But as you know, we've won games. I think we don't win the Bakersfield game without Beon's lift in the first half. I don't know if we win the Long Beach game without Zor's lift in the first and second half of those games. So, we had 8 or 9 that have been consistent there, but for us to be good, and that's a credit to the guys, and any good team has this. Everybody understands their roles and you can tell on the bench, they're all sitting there supporting each other. So I have a feeling those guys will be needed and will help us when their time comes, and they're continuing to work and support their team.
So this text is sort of along that line. Regarding Amaro, he hasn't played a lot to date, and then he had major minutes in the game. It was very significant. What was your strategy and how you used him? What accounted for how much he participated in this game? What can we expect for the future with him? I think you kind of already answered that.
Yeah, he's still he's been thrown in the fire. He did a great job when guys were out. He's consistently shot the ball. He's learning our program, learning our system. He's a gym rat. He loves the game. His attitude is infectious. And then he missed some time because of the protocols, and then he ended up missing a road trip. And so he's had to work his way back a little bit. But, each game he's given us a little bit of a lift, and some games he stays in there because of his consistency on the other end and his improvement there. But he'll always be a guy you have to honor. I felt like he could spread the floor for us. Again, with Mate coming back, we were able to play him, and he was good. He hit those 2 big threes. He attacked the rim. And sometimes you stick with the hot hand like that, and he earned it. He deserved it. He'll stay in there, and he's had great practices. And, I think one of the great things is he's going against Junior and Noel and Javon every day. And I think that's helped him get better as well. And those guys really compete with each other, and that's good to see. So first-year guy in our program, like with anybody, you saw it with Junior, Noel, Javon last year, and he loves the game, that he'll keep getting better.
Well, one of the things, and you mentioned it a moment ago, when you mentioned that Beon Riley really did give the team a lift against Bakersfield. Now, Bakersfield was, in my opinion, the most physical game you guys have played this year. Almost to a fault. I mean, that's sort of their identity, their style. And Beon's a little bit, how would I put it, thicker than some of the other guys. He can stand up to guys who want to push and shove a little bit. So I kind of think in some guys' cases, the opponent will dictate how many minutes they get or when they come in.
Yeah, and like I said, everybody's got to continue to improve. Everybody's got to continue to get better and just be ready. It's easy to say, hard to do, but you got to do it if you want to be good. As a team, individually, it's the ultimate sacrifice, staying ready. And Santa Barbara was kind of digging on our penetrations and sitting in the paint a little bit. So a guy like Lotto, if he's shot ready, which he usually is, he's not shy, would make some of that pay. And same with Kamaka. The aggressiveness he showed in the second half compared to the first, we needed to have. So I thought that was a really big point and a credit to those guys.
One of the things, and you say he's not shy, I mean, there are guys that the only guy who's going to stop Amaro Lotto from shooting is the coach. Because, I mean, he is ready. He was, as he said to somebody else, he's born ready. He likes to come out. He loves that part of the game. He gets excited about it. And the moment's not too big for him. You get that feeling.
Well, and again, he's done it consistently. He's shot it at the junior college level. We obviously, as you know, we do a lot of shooting drills. He's done it there. And he's shooting 40% from three in his first Division I season. So, and it's a great looking shot. I mean, it's one of the higher arcs I've seen,
Yep.
But it's good rotation, rarely hits the rim. And so he's just got to keep staying with that and getting ready for teams to take him off the three. We saw that with Noel and other guys on our team. That's, again, what's really difficult is there's too many guys you have to take off the three and honor in our team. And so just to add another guy like him off the bench is a nice boost off the bench.
I'm going to read one more text for you, let you answer that. Then we're going to take a break, and we encourage people, you can text us in. You can do this on our Facebook page, and you can do it, of course, as you usually do on ESPN Honolulu. Here's the text. Coach, great win on Saturday. How much does that game mean to you guys moving forward now that you are alone first in the Big West?
Well, I mean, it was a huge win. Every game is something we can learn from. Again, obviously playing against a really good team that had beaten us last year, that won our league, and also coming back. You don't want to put ourselves in that position. So we learned from both the deficit early and the way this is how we need to compete all the time. Conference play is a battle. But you and I have talked about this. It's early. We put ourselves into a good position. If we don't get better, we're going to be left behind. There's a lot of programs that are working their way back from COVID. There's constant, nothing like league play, because yes, you're fighting for league championships, but the fight for seedings, the fight for momentum going into league, and the quality of the teams and the coaches that have a lot of pride in the programs, each game has a lot at stake. So we got to clean a lot of things up if we want to be where we want to be, but we all know it's still very early.
Let's get to the upcoming games. I do want to talk about that a little bit. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll get to this week's schedule on the road at UC Riverside. Late game, 8 o'clock in the California, and then you play an early game, 5 o'clock on Saturday. And they had to move that because I guess you guys had objected because they initially had you scheduled for 2 p.m. on Saturday. Right. So there's rules. You can't just do whatever you can do some things, but you can't do whatever you want. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll be right back with Eran Ganot. This is Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu and Facebook Live.
Some people think of public workers as statistics, numbers, positions that are unnecessary. But public workers include police dispatchers, lifeguards, principals, and other school workers like safety and security specialists and educational assistants, public health nurses, and thousands more real people who play important roles that every community needs. So those public workers, we shouldn't take them for granted. They provide essential services that benefit us all. A message from HGEA.
Hi, this is Rick from Ruby Tuesday, Hawaii. Our team wishes you a happy new year and safe and healthy 2022. We want you to know we're using all the best and safest practices to prepare your meal. Come in this month to get 15% off any to-go order you pick up from us. Please feel free to also come in for a Miller Coors Light for only $3.69 or get the award-winning Blue Moon for $4.69. Thanks, see you soon, and make every day a Ruby Tuesday.
Here's something new from Pacxa, Hawaii's premier technology provider. HPE Electra powers your data from edge to cloud. The HPE data infrastructure is AI-driven, built for cloud, and delivered as a service. The solution provides fast, consistent performance and 99.9999% guaranteed availability. To learn more and to schedule a demo with Pacxa, Hawaii's HPE Gold partner, go to paxa.com/Electra. That's paxa.com/ALLETRA.
Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu.
Welcome back to our virtual edition of Call the Coach with Rainbow Warrior head coach Eran Ganot. We encourage your texts or calls 296-1420. That works either way for the texting or the calling. I wanted to get to this because with what you've got coming up, UC Riverside now comes off a Saturday game. Last Saturday, they beat Fullerton, who was tied for first with you guys, and they beat them by double digits. Were you surprised by that, or did you sort of see this coming? I think preseason, people thought Riverside was going to be pretty good. Yeah, they're off to a good start. I mean, I don't know if I'm surprised by anything in our conference anymore. I think conference play are battles both ways, and I do think they separated late, but Riverside's a team that, remember, and both these teams come over, were picked to do well in conference, and were coming off a good year and had a lot coming back, especially in the backcourt. And having, they lose a guy like Jock Perry, and they bring in Callum McCray, who's probably the biggest guy in our league, and they return their 1, 2, and 3, which is really important in college basketball. You got Pickett coming back, Zion Pullen coming back, Cameron coming back, and they won at Arizona State, had a great non-conference, and then they hit a pause, and now they're finding their rhythm and things like that. So, one of the better teams defensively again in the country to rebound the basketball, added a really good transfer at the 4 spot. So, no, I don't know if I'm surprised. I think you could tell they're further along than they were a week ago as they've come through some of their pauses, but they're certainly a physical team and a team that had a lot of momentum coming into this year and have gotten off to a good start. It's funny because I think other people look at you guys and they probably weren't aware that Kamaka was coming in and plays a 3 at 6'10", and then Jerome, the grad transfer from Princeton. So you really got a couple of new guys, and you've mentioned that, I've heard you say it before, and it's quite obvious, the 4s. This may be the best group of 4s in this league that I have ever seen. Yeah, you got a lot of point of attack, tough matchups, inside, outside guys. And fortunately, we have a couple guys, in Kamaka and Jerome. We have 2 of the top 4s in our program. We just happen to play them together at times at the 3 and the 4. So, and that's a credit to them. They're basketball players. They can play inside out. They can make decisions. They can pass. They can shoot. They can drive. They can post. It's a great luxury to have, and even more so with guys like Bernardo and Mate, so we can get them kind of back to some of their comfort zones. Want to get this YouTube question. This is from Brandon. Coach, after that start on Saturday, during those first timeouts, what changes were you making, or what did you tell your team to change? Well, there was a point where I thought we'd run out of our timeouts in the first half. So I think the big thing was there was a stretch, and people asked me after, it was a credit to our guys, credit to my staff. If we were going to look at this as a moment, what a great moment for our team. I remember talking about, do we go into the lock? Do we just not want to play and we'll wait till after the game and we can look at it? Or do we think the basketball gods that there are 32 minutes left and this is a great moment for our team to really come together? And they chose to come together. But, all that other stuff, the reality is those were the first 5 or 6 minutes were brutal on both ends in every way. Couldn't have gone worse. And we needed to just pick up our intensity, our fight, and then kind of go from there. And Javon, sometimes I know I've talked to you about this and others, that Javon kind of can come in and start, be an engine and a spark plug for that fire. And then Junior, after he took his first rest, came back and ignited that. Mate, when you can bring Javon and Mate off the bench and you bring Junior back in there and a guy like Lotto, it allowed us to chip away at it. So more than anything, a couple simple adjustments, but a real challenging of getting our intensity back. Okay, we have another text. In terms of the transfer portal, do you ever have to re-recruit your guys to get them to stay in the program?
That's a good question. I mean, I think what we do on a daily basis, I mean, a lot of people, and you've unfortunately traveled with our program, is there's no, it's how we are every day. You know, we work hard, we treat people right, we have a good time together, and them seeing the fans back. And I think they're having a good time right now. And obviously that is an added deal you have to do in a way. But, you know, when you say re-recruit, it's kind of like, well, you should be treating your guys right every day anyway. And I think the guys really are enjoying what's going on. They were enjoying even when we were struggling. And I think that's what's helped us, because it's a group that is like-minded in terms of their love for the game, their love for each other, their love for Hawaii. And hopefully that's enough. But I know that's an added element in the world we live in today.
I also, and I have a very good viewpoint of this because I am the only non-university employee that's on the trips, but I do notice there's no lack of communication here, and that's between players, coaches to players, coaches to coaches. I would say this group, these are expressives, more or less, psychoanalytic term.
Well, you get them how you recruit them, right?
Yeah.
So there's no surprises on the front end. We're very direct, we're very consistent, and we bring in guys. So again, this is all a credit to the quality of the people we have in our program. You love the game. You love to work. You want to be challenged and pushed and get clear communication on a daily level. You want to be around guys who are like that. I mean, you got to do what you love, where you love, with people you love, and you hope that's enough. And we want to create, an environment that allows them to be themselves. It's fun to watch them celebrate on the bench and their personalities come out. It's been a lot. I've said this going into this year. You could feel it being around this team. It's been a great group to be around, and I'm really happy for the success they're having right now, and just want more for them.
Let's get to another text. Hey, Coach, how's Justice adjusting to your scheme? We hope to see his skills show in the upcoming road trip. The Mountain West sometimes get 2 bids. Actually, they've gotten as many as 4 to the NCAA Big Dance. Do you think the Big West could get the same? And then going forward, it looks like the football and basketball programs will be supporting each other. Timmy Chang stayed to the end of the game to celebrate with the team. Awesome.
Yeah, no, Justice, we like where he's at. We like where he's headed. He also, like I said about other guys, he gets to go against Javon and Lotto and Junior and Noel, and those guys are helping each other. He's one of our more active guys on the bench. He's going to continue to add to his game. It's a really unique time where he came in. He comes in the late December, and then he has a pause like some of our guys did, and then we're on the trip every other week. So we haven't had a lot of practices, but he's picking things up, and he's helped us this year. He just like we said with the other guys, has to stay ready, because I think he can help us and has to be ready. But this will help him moving forward. In terms of, it's so great to see coaches supporting coaches, student athletes supporting student athletes. As you know, my wife and my daughter, we go to games, and there's a power, and it was nice to see in the crowd at Hawaii supporting each other. There's a power in this being one team, one program, the alignment that needs to happen for anybody to succeed between your program, your athletic department, the state, the university. There's nothing like it, and none of us will be very good if we don't have it. And so that's why I said after the game, I think, to some people, like, if you go see Timmy, just say, congratulations, how can I help, how can we help, and say that through ups and downs, because that's how we're going to get this done. And there's nothing like it, the ultimate team. And for him to stay from start to finish as engaged as he was, I know our guys loved it.
Okay, this is Regan, I think, on YouTube. How can fans go about getting merchandise signed? My son would like to get his hat and jersey signed. Thanks and best of luck.
We get some of those requests and send that to drop it off or send it to our basketball offices or mail it to our offices, and we'll get that back to you guys for sure. And I know we've had kind of those autograph nights in the past, and I know there's been some challenges with that. So whatever we can do to help our great fans, we'd like to do that.
We're all hoping that this gets back a little bit closer to normal soon. But I did think that the 2,800, I thought to myself, I said to Gary Dickman after the game, if you were one of the 2,800 who went to that game, how would you want to not get back when the team returns to play Long Beach and Cal State Fullerton? I kind of think that you're on an express train that's going up here as far as attendance goes.
Well, each game it's gone like that. I remember our first year too. I think we averaged 5,800 in non-conference, and then in conference it was 9,000 a night. So,
Right.
you know, I think again it's the perfect storm. It's an exciting product. We're up tempo. We shoot a lot of threes. We play inside out. We share the ball. The group has been performing. We know we need to continue to perform. The group has been through a lot, and they have great stories, great characters, so they're easy to rally behind. And we're, you know, there have been some exciting games played in the stand, and it's nothing like the fans. Like I said, you can feel the power of the Hawaii fan base, but to have the fans around each other again, not just for us, but for them to be around each other again, and the familiar faces. I know we've had long-time season ticket holders, and I certainly miss seeing everybody, but it's just been awesome to see people back. And hopefully we have that moving forward. I know we have some challenges and protocols, but hopefully people are used to that rhythm. I know our guys really appreciate it. I know it means a lot to all of us.
Well, we are going to come back with a little different kind of question, but we have to take a quick time out. You are listening to Call the Coach with Eran Ganot on ESPN Honolulu and Facebook Live.
Protect your family with V-Shield, the next generation of hand sanitizers. As a spray or lotion, V-Shield kills the COVID virus on contact, providing 4 hours of protection. Purchase V-Shield sanitizers at all Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union locations, just $13. With every sanitizer purchase, the credit union will donate a travel spray to a frontline hero. Visit hificu.com. Federally insured by the NCUA. All sales final. Nova Shield LLC is solely responsible for the content of this advertisement and is the manufacturer and distributor of this product. Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union makes no representations or warranties concerning the effectiveness of this product.
Here's something new from Pacxa, Hawaii's premier technology provider. HPE Electra powers your data from edge to cloud. The HPE data infrastructure is AI-driven, built for cloud, and delivered as a service. The solution provides fast, consistent performance and 99.9999% guaranteed availability. To learn more and to schedule a demo with Pacxa, Hawaii's HPE Gold partner, go to paxa.com/Electra. That's paxa.com/ALLETRA.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hi, this is Rick from Ruby Tuesday, Hawaii. Our team wishes you a happy new year and safe and healthy 2022. We want you to know we're using all the best and safest practices to prepare your meal. Come in this month to get 15% off any to-go order you pick up from us. Please feel free to also come in for a Miller Coors Light for only $3.69 or get the award-winning Blue Moon for $4.69. Thanks, see you soon, and make every day a Ruby Tuesday.
ESPN Honolulu is Hawaii's sports leader. KKEA Honolulu, 1420 AM and 92.7 FM. Part of the IO family of companies. Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu.
Welcome back to our virtual Call the Coach with Rainbow Warrior head coach Eran Ganot. You said something before we went to the break, and I couldn't agree more with this. This is a group that really enjoys being around each other. They enjoy the routine. It doesn't matter whether it's a coach going through the scout or it's the film or it's practice and even the meals together out on the road. I mean, it actually is a group that gets along tremendously, maybe better. I mean, there's been other ones that have gotten along, but I think this one might be special in that regard.
Yeah, that's a credit to them. They're so unselfish. They care so much about each other.
I'm not hearing Eran right now, by the way.
Can you hear me?
Let's see. Go ahead, Eran. Let's see if I can get you now.
Can you hear me?
No, I don't hear
No?
you, but I'm not sure if you can be heard elsewise.
I could take it off.
Just go ahead and talk, and maybe sooner or later we'll get it.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't, but they might. So go ahead.
Why don't I take these off and see if you guys hear me? I'm going to try that.
It's interesting if you're hearing me. We got it now? Okay, go ahead and talk, Eran.
Can you hear me?
No, I don't hear you, but apparently everybody else does. I haven't touched anything, so I'm blameless as far as this goes. But
So
something has gone temporarily awry. So we'll see if we can get this fixed pretty quickly. And now, as long as if everybody listening can hear Eran, I wouldn't stop him.
can they hear me?
I can't hear. It's not the end of the world, I suppose. But let's see. Keegan is sprinting to and from these rooms as we try to get it going. Okay, so someone's saying everybody else can hear us. Are you hearing me, Eran?
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, the only person that's not hearing anybody is me not hearing you. Okay, let's see if we can get back to what we were talking about. This team getting along so well together, how important do you think that is in the way it translates to on court?
Well, you can tell a lot about the way a team plays, about their personalities. This is an unselfish group. They're unselfish on the floor. They support each other on and off the court. They're very, like they're each other's biggest fans. They've gotten to know each other. They come from different backgrounds, which is awesome. They're learning about different cultures, different eras that they're from. So I just think it's helped us. It allowed us to stick together through some adversity. It's one of the biggest things that we feel could be a separator for us, and has been, and it's put us in this position. It gives us a chance moving forward. And look, the game, it's really important in period, and obviously in a team sport.
Okay, I want to see another question for you about, and anybody else who wants to text or call, please do. Another thing that I think is going to be interesting is quick turnarounds on the road have their own rhythm. And you have one because you're playing at 8 o'clock at night, California time on Thursday, 5 p.m. then on Saturday afternoon. I think your guys are pretty flexible, that they're going to adapt well on this one as well.
Yeah, I think our guy. Look, it's like we have a routine, we have a style of play, and we wrinkle it for our team. Just like we have the routine, but then the guys' personalities are different every year, and we let that shine. And you've talked about Javon, his comments when we do scouts, and Samuta and Juan have been terrific, even though they're not out there. Their leadership, and it's a bunch of different personalities, great players, but they adjust to what we do. And so the turnaround 8 o'clock game, and now it's a 5 o'clock game, and we're flying. I mean, the reality is it's us first and them. We continue to get, travel well is important. We eat well. Can you hear me?
I do hear you now. Yes, that's
a
relief.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have our style of play. We have a routine we do in home stretches, road stretches. This will be a little unique because we fly, California, and then we have to, fly to our next game to Davis. And so we'll continue to make sure we compete, travel well, compete, get their rest. We'll watch the film. We'll get them ready for the next day, travel well, and we'll be ready for a big Saturday game. Now, the unique thing here is, Davis plays on Tuesday and they don't play till Saturday. So it'll be a quick turnaround, and we got to do a better job with our short turnaround than theirs.
One of the things, and you say this frequently, get the players off their feet, get them to bed at a reasonable time after the games. And you always say, we'll stay up late. We'll get it ready. You guys get off your feet and get to sleep.
Yeah, it's work hard, fire fresh, get their rest, recovery, eat, so we can get back to work. And, those guys have done a good job with that. Taking care of your body is really important, especially this time of year with travel, especially for Hawaii programs. And we've really tried to flip the script and embrace the travel that and the difficulties of that for Hawaii programs, and, embrace the road and come together on the road. Nothing like obviously getting your home crowd going. And it's just as important or just as sweet when you can, you're the few guys it's basically your travel party and some of your families that are in town going against, a fan base on the road. So I know we got to play better on the road, and I feel like we're prepared for that. But again, it starts with the same routine, just wrinkled a little bit for what kind of travel we have to make from Thursday to Saturday.
Sometimes I often think that it's the little extra things when you guys are talking to a particular player about the matchup. Like, for example, this is how it will go. Okay, Jerome, you got him on the first group, and Zor, you have him in the second group. So guys know who they're likely to be matched up against. I kind of think that the way these guys pay attention, and they can all see the stuff not only that you have or we see as a group, but also they have it on their iPads. So, and I think some guys, Jerome in particular, I just notice him because he likes to kind of sit in lobbies and he gets his own little section in the lobby, and he's going over this stuff nonstop.
Well, you bring in a bunch of intelligent young men. Every angle they can get an advantage is important to them. They're competitors. And again, because of that chemistry, they challenge each other, not just on the floor, but in terms of their focus and in scouts and things like that. They want to do well, and it's contagious, and they're really focused. And the repetition of what we do, first stretch of the year for new guys, one of the beauties of the repetition is now there's a comfort to it. And then their personality, it's like get comfortable in a style of play and then let your personalities shine or your individual talents. Get comfortable in the routine of what we do, whether it's on the court or in scouts, and then they have their own voices and we listen to them. Obviously, it's in a collaborative process. They pick up things we don't see sometimes, and why not? That's why we brought them in. And, it's just fun to sit back sometimes and you could watch them, on the floor, or even how, when they're eating together and when they're challenging each other and when they're talking about other teams and ways to attack. That's allows us to hit our, to raise our ceiling because they're invested in it.
It sounds to me, and this next question, I'm not sure I even want to say it because I don't want to get you in trouble, because I don't think that you guys signed a sort of a stretch 4 or got a verbal commitment, more accurately, from a stretch 4. You can't talk about him. Is that correct?
I can't talk about any prospect until they are signed.
Okay, and that's why this guy was going to ask, can this fellow join up like Justice did? But he is going to be here for the next season, correct?
Right. Well, I can say that we can't add another person for this semester. Okay. And I can say that I can't wait, as always, when I'm allowed to talk about any person we bring in and sing praises and things like that. So, I know with a guy like Justice, bringing him at semester is going to help pay dividends for us long term, but I can't tell you right now, like bringing him in has helped us currently, like whether he's had a couple minutes here and there, but our ability to practice, and he competes, he gets after it. So, I'm just excited about where we're at, where we're headed, and looking forward to our future as well.
I think a lot of players that came in the way Justice did would be a little nervous, a little tentative. He missed. He wasn't online when they handed out tentative, because he came in with a little swag. He'll get, even when you put him in the game. I was at South Florida, I want to say. I mean, he just got right on a guy and stuck in front of him, and you wouldn't, if you didn't know it was his first game and without really practicing, you would never have known it.
Yeah, and he's done such a good job getting acclimated. He's been a big time in practice, big time in the weight room. He's a strong guard, and he's going against, like I said, not just getting him a head start for the future, but also going against good players right now. And he's not shy. You want to bring that, you want to evaluate that when you bring in some guys. Like, there are some guys who are under the radar, but they're how good a worker, how much does he love the game? How confident is he? I feel like we have a group that's really good there, that's allowed some guys who are maybe under the radar to pass up other guys, because you can't teach that sometimes, and those guys get better.
One of the things that I'm noticing, because Noel had such a good off season that we talked about, he came in quite a bit stronger than he'd been. He always had the vertical. He was always a good shooter, but the physicality he didn't have so much. Now he does. And I'm thinking Justice walks in the door. It was the last time he competed was really high school. And he comes in and he has to go against guys like Noel. Now, he's, as you said, a strong kid. He's not quite Noel yet, but you can see he's challenging himself even to be able to keep up. And Javon, for example, now he's not tall, but he's thick. And so Justice had to be prepared for that. And he looks like he's rising to the challenge.
Yeah, and they all. The great thing is can you have the balance where they're competing with each other, and they compete against each other, and then can separate and root for each other, and they do that at such a high level, and that's great to see. And I think that's going to allow them to keep getting better. There's nothing like the daily competition and the bar being raised, and you talked about the physicality of Noel. Junior gets in there. Lotto's going as a guy you have to honor in terms of his shooting, and he's getting in there and he's getting better. And again, he's there's the physical strength, and he's a pretty strong kid. This is Justice, and he's also not afraid. So he's got some mental toughness there as well.
All right, this is going to be I can't even anticipate how you might answer this question. It's a text. Hey, Coach, can you compare this year's team with the team from 2016 that went to the tournament and beat Cal, by the way?
Each group is different. I've always said our styles will always be similar in this regard. We're going to be very competitive. We're going to be tough. We're going to be balanced. We're going to share the ball. We're going to defend. We're going to rebound. And we're going to cheer for each other. I mean, there's a lot of photos from that first couple of groups that people use nationally about teams supporting each other on the bench. You remember the Hawaii 5-0, and you see that continue. But it's a little different. And each group, like I said, you got your general style, but we do it in different ways. We had the experience of Bobbitt at the point and a hybrid player of the year type candidate who was in Jenks. And so you play off them a little bit more. You got Valdez attacking the rim and slashing in transition. You got the blue-collar guys in Quincy and Mike. And what I will say is that group and this group really buys into their roles. And if we can defend like we've been for the last 5 or 6 games, like that group did for the whole year, this group might be a little further along offensively, obviously shoots the ball better. That team the first year got to the line like none other and just kept attacking the rim with a vengeance. But I can see again, no group will be exactly the same. They will have the general foundation of a team concept. And this group is still writing their story. It had a different kind of obstacle in mid-year. We lose 2 guys. We're trying to reinvent our team 3 or 4 times just in the first 2 months. And now we're finding a rhythm. So I don't know where this group can keep going. I know I'll say this, as well as we're playing right now, we can get better and need to get better. But again, if we want to do what that group does, we got to keep it going.
I thought it was interesting, and I guess it was Stephen Sy that must have asked Trent Johnson the question, but he had said, he made the comment, that's a very good basketball team, and if they stay with this and stay healthy, they can be playing deep into March, which is, I think it's a nice compliment from a guy who knows the league and has a good sense of what teams have to do.
And he said it right. Like, again, it's just like that group in 16 or any, I've been fortunate to have been part of some NCAA tournament teams. It's, can we keep it going? This is not, there's more to be done. Obviously, it's still very early. But like I said, maybe about a month ago, if we can complement our ability to shoot, first of all, if we can get healthy, obviously we have 2 guys out, but just having those guys back, we felt really strong about this team's balance inside and out. Now, offensively, can we complement it with our defense? Well, if we can continue this defensive surge we're on, then yes, we have a chance to do some special things. If we can continue this rebounding, but at the end of the day, I know I've said this for the last sessions with you, Bobby, we have to take care of the ball better, or we're not going to get it done in that regard.
I think people who observe this team closely have singled that out as a way that in which you guys could improve, because it's not all the time. It tends to be, 6-7 minutes where suddenly you're not as careful with the basketball. We have another text, but I think what I'm going to do is pause for a quick timeout. We'll start back with that after this timeout. You're listening to Call the Coach with Eran Ganot on ESPN Honolulu and Facebook Live.
Here's something new from Pacxa, Hawaii's premier technology provider. HPE Electra powers your data from edge to cloud. The HPE data infrastructure is AI-driven, built for cloud, and delivered as a service. The solution provides fast, consistent performance and 99.9999% guaranteed availability. To learn more and to schedule a demo with Pacxa, Hawaii's HPE Gold partner, go to paxa.com/Electra. That's paxa.com/ALLETRA.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hi, this is Rick from Ruby Tuesday, Hawaii. Our team wishes you a happy new year and safe and healthy 2022. We want you to know we're using all the best and safest practices to prepare your meal. Come in this month to get 15% off any to-go order you pick up from us. Please feel free to also come in for a Miller Coors Light for only $3.69 or get the award-winning Blue Moon for $4.69. Thanks, see you soon, and make every day a Ruby Tuesday.
Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu.
Back. There we go. Okay. Welcome back to our virtual edition of Call the Coach. This is feeding back right now. I'm going to have to. Okay. I got to get the. Coach, here's your text, Eran. What's your take on Riverside? We know they beat Fullerton on Saturday. Is that the toughest game on the schedule in your mind? Also, does it help that the game is on national TV for recruiting?
No, I think we have a lot of respect for Riverside. They obviously came in with a lot of momentum into this year. I spoke earlier about the fact that they have guys back. Now, Bobby, did you ask me about Fullerton or Riverside?
Well, the question initially is about Riverside.
Yep.
And they said they beat Fullerton on Saturday, which they did by 13 points, by the way. So I think what he wants to know is Riverside. Do you consider Riverside on the road the toughest game on your schedule?
I think that, we've played a lot of tough games, and obviously each game, I would say the next game is the biggest game of the year. And I know it's
the toughest game.
Yeah, and obviously they're coming in with the momentum. I said earlier, they're coming off the pause. They're getting more comfortable. They had a better year last year and the year before. They've gotten better every year. They return their starting 1, 2, 3. They bring their starting 5 back who didn't play for them last year, and they brought in some transfers. So they continue to have a clear identity, defending, rebounding, and sharing the ball. And they're coming off a big win. They won at Arizona State. So they have a lot of confidence, and they beat us. We played their 2 games with them last year. We beat them the first game. Both of them were at their place and lost the second game, lost a really close game, a low-scoring game in the conference tournament. So it's going to be a big game, obviously. And then with the Fullerton game, one of the great things is, you get some national television opportunities that before the year, and then you have to earn the rest. And so we earned one earlier in the year with Long Beach State at their place. That was an earned game. We earned this game with Riverside on national television. So we just got to keep doing what we can in that regard. It allows us to celebrate and provide exposure for our program, for the state, for the university, for the athletic department, and celebrate, and not jump ahead, but just play our brand of basketball in terms of sharing the ball and our team brand. So more than anything, I'm excited the fact that we're rewarded and we earn things, and hopefully we continue to do that moving forward. Well,
I think the hope is that as you continue this team continues to develop, that some of the games that are tough, for example, that win over Long Beach at Long Beach was a really big one, I thought, but you're going to get a chance before Fullerton. And that'll be a week from Thursday. Long Beach is coming back in here, and I just think that will be an out-and-out war.
Yeah, and they haven't lost since then. There's a lot of, fighting for positions that are going to go on from start to finish, and that's why each game is so critical. And again, it's still so early. Nothing like league play, but there's nothing like league play the second time around, and in some cases the third time around when you get to conference tournament. Execution's at a premium. The games are very physical. There's been a lot of continuity and staffs in our conference. So I think, like I said, you asked me earlier, there are going to be a lot of surprises. Well, each game is going to be a battle. There's a lot of people who care a lot and have a lot of pride and know each other and know what's at stake, and really that's what you live for.
I think that a lot of people look around and they're thinking, oh, gee, does Hawaii have a chance to have the player of the year? And I would say that you guys have some very good players, but the problem with having a player of the year, I'm not sure that one stands out above the others enough to make that likely. I would say the 2 candidates probably that come to most people's mind would probably be Bernardo and Noel. But I think each of them has the nights where they sort of take a back seat to somebody who's a hotter hand. which is fabulous. As a coach, that's what you want from your players. It may not be conducive to individual awards.
Well, I think it will be. I think it always has been, actually, in terms of the amount of guys that get recognition. But, over the years in the league, we've been balanced. Irvine's been balanced, and they've had that similar situation, and they've still gotten the Player of the Year. So I know, and then we're not about recognition. You talk about guys taking a backseat because it's one mission, one goal. Yeah. Everything will kind of work itself out at the end. I mean, you will get. I mean, if it was today, I think we would have the Player of the Year. I don't know who it'll be. But you can argue.
That's what I'm saying. That's the issue. You don't know who it would be.
Right, but I think the league in general, the coaches will want to reward that too. Because I think you can make an argument in terms of guys like Bernardo, Noel, Junior, Kamaka, Jerome. I mean, that's a great thing. And in conference play, the way Javon's playing, if he continues to do that. So I just know that we might get more recognition. At the end of the day, though, we got work to do. And I think what's great is we could have a different player of the week all the time. Yeah. And sometimes if you have guys going for the individual stuff, guess what? Your team won't be as good and you won't get any recognition individually.
And I don't think you have guys, I don't detect this anyway with your guys, that anyone's obsessed with that. I mean, they're very happy to be part of a winning group. And as you said, they root for each other hard, which is ironic because they go at each other in practice pretty hard. So I think that's a great quality in a team.
That's a credit to them. I mean, that is such a credit to them. And it's something that you got to continue to have moving forward. And I think these guys will stay with it. And like I said, over the course of games, it's really tough to try to take a couple guys out because we have other guys who can make it happen for us. And they really, the reward has been playing in more meaningful games and bigger games and things like that. And I think they're just fine with that.
Okay, believe it or not, we only have a couple of minutes left here. Here's a question. Coach, do you think that the regular season champion in the Big West should be able to host the conference tournament?
I think there's been a trend. When I first started, I remember Gonzaga and Santa Clara hosting conference tournaments, regardless of who earned it. They were just the designated host. So as the years have gone on, it's been nice to have at neutral sites and the expansion, as you can tell, for every conference tournament, making it a bigger deal and things like that. I mean, if we're the number one seed at the end of the year, then I think Hawaii should host.
Right. And if it's somebody else, it should be in a neutral court.
Yeah, neutral. Absolutely.
This is going to be in a new place in Henderson. And I heard this, I think, from Neil Iwamoto, our SID for basketball. He thinks this is going to be the grand opening of this place, that there won't have been games prior to the Big West Conference tournament. Is that your understanding?
That's my understanding. I mean, they've given us updates as this project and this facility has been built and going through that process. So it's exciting to have a neutral site and obviously in Vegas and, more and more teams, everything's kind of gravitating towards Vegas and in that area and the amount of facilities that have come up in the last 5 years. So you feel like you're a little bit part of basketball Mecca for a key stretch in March. And last year you felt that a little bit, but you couldn't have the fan experience there. And we were kind of part of this Vegas event with all these tournaments, but we were in the hotel or in the gym. And so hopefully this gets us more to, because it should be an experience. It should be a great experience for everybody.
Okay, then I want a last question for you because I got about 30 seconds here left. And I just wanted to say, I'm guessing that your priority this week, one of them will be taking care of the basketball. What else?
It's interesting. I think taking care of the ball and it comes to the second one, which is our transition defense. So, we've checked some boxes. So I guess it's still going to be the taking care of the ball and we get to still come with our defense. Being better, if anything, we're doing a good job getting into the paint, but making better decisions, not just with the turnovers, but also finishing stronger at the rim, I think will help us moving forward.
Eran, best of luck this week. Should be another very interesting road trip.
Awesome. Thanks for having me as always.
That's Eran Ganot from all of us at ESPN Honolulu on Facebook Live. I'm Bobby Curran. Aloha.
This has been Call the Coach on ESPN Honolulu, presented by Pacxa, Coors Light, and Ruby Tuesday Hawaii, and brought to you by HGEA, Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union, and IBEW Local 1186.
Some people think of public workers as statistics, numbers, positions that are unnecessary. But public workers include police dispatchers, lifeguards, principals, and other school workers like safety and security specialists and educational assistants, public health nurses, and thousands more real people who play important roles that every community needs. So those public workers, we shouldn't take them for granted. They provide essential services that benefit us all. A message from HGEA.
Protect your family with V-Shield, the next generation of hand sanitizers. As a sprayer lotion, V-Shield kills the COVID virus on contact, providing 4 hours of protection. Purchase V-Shield sanitizers at all Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union locations, just $13. With every sanitizer purchase, the credit union will donate a travel spray to a frontline hero. Visit hificu.com. Federally insured by the NCUA. All sales final. Nova Shield LLC is solely responsible for the content of this advertisement and is the manufacturer and distributor of this product. Hawaiian Financial Federal Credit Union makes no representations or warranties concerning the effectiveness of this product.
Here's something new from Pacxa, Hawaii's premier technology provider. HPE Electra powers your data from edge to cloud. The HPE data infrastructure is AI-driven, built for cloud, and delivered as a service. The solution provides fast, consistent performance and 99.9999% guaranteed availability. To learn more and to schedule a demo with Pacxa, Hawaii's HPE Gold partner, go to paxa.com/Electra. That's paxa.com/ALLETRA.
Hi, this is Rick from Ruby Tuesday, Hawaii. Our team wishes you a happy new year and safe and healthy 2022. We want you to know we're using all the best and safest practices to prepare your meal. Come in this month to get 15% off any to-go order you pick up from us. Please feel free to also come in for a Miller Coors Light for only $3.69 or get the award-winning Blue Moon for $4.69. Thanks, see you soon, and make every day a Ruby Tuesday.
This is ESPN Honolulu, KKEA Honolulu, AM 1420 and K224FR.